But the problem is we don't understand, and we can't conceive of how wonderful this devotional service is. We can't conceive of how wonderful Krishna is. We can't even imagine how happy we're going to be when we finally do get Krishna. It's impossible for us in the conditioned state to imagine that this is even possible. It beggars our imagination, stuns our mind. We go into the defense mechanism of thinking that, oh, these guys are trying to cheat me, and what they're saying is simply exaggeration because they want me to join their little cult. And but no, it's actually what we're trying to be as truthful and accurate as possible in discussing how these things are. So the language in the scriptures and the praises of the pure devotees in describing how wonderful this Krishna consciousness is are not exaggeration by any means. They are accurate, truthful descriptions.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a credibility problem, the problem is on your side.
Yeah, we saw this on the Janmashtami festival, precisely, that many people, many devotees mentioned that I've never been so happy in so long, just by participating the first time and like that, with no real experience of years of practice or something. Just come to a festival, meet devotees, and it was so astonishing.
We were so happy. At the end, we were crying. We'll post this video once we get it processed. That everybody was sitting in this room, and it was the end of the festival, and people were getting ready to leave and like that, and like nobody wanted it to end. We were all like crying. Oh, it's over. But we were also, at the same time, we were also happy. And we had been like that like for 3 or 4 days, straight. And the whole group was feeling, I mean, it was so wonderful. Can you imagine a group of 20 people all stuffed into a house together and performing hours and hours of all these different, very complicated activities? And there was not a single argument or misunderstanding. I mean, how is this possible for pick any group of 20 people, huh? Like, have you ever been to a family reunion? Huh? Like Thanksgiving or Christmas or something like that, 4th of July, Do you ever get through it even one day without, Uncle Joe picking a fight with somebody and, Aunt Scarlett screaming at the kids or something? But I mean, it was just so, the whole thing was so like transcendental. It was really far out. And I hope anyway, by watching the videos, you can get a sense of just how wonderful and transcendental the whole thing was. I mean, I'm still blown away by it. I'm like, wow, we have such nice devotees in this Sangha. I wish it was, my life really now is about creating a place, a community where we can all get together and, live like this all the time. Wouldn't that be far out? Yeah, yeah.
Question from Luciano. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Can one offer arati without the fans, as I do not have the proper whisk, nor peacock feather fan?
Yeah, we don't have the handkerchiefs. We should also offer a handkerchief. But handkerchief? It's like a piece of cloth for wiping your mouth or something. It's wiping sweat.
How do you offer it?
Yeah, you just offer it like that. I'll show you how to hold. There's a certain way to hold it and everything. Yeah, but yes.
Well, we have a spare whisk and a spare fan.
but don't. Did you give one to Devesh? He already has one, I think. Yeah, I think he has already. We didn't know that was going to be spare. We thought we needed both of them. Maybe we can send. Anyway, if you can work that out with him. Any service that we do is better than no service. So even if we can't perform the entire ritual or something, at least we can do the part of it. Like when we do these like fire sacrifices and deity worship things, they're almost always incomplete. There's something missing, some ingredient that we can't get, or some part of the process that we don't understand properly or don't perform properly according to all the rules and regulations. I mean, if you ever read all the rules and regulations of deity worship, you'd faint. There's a book called Hari Bhakti Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas is about this thick, and all it is rules of deity worship and stuff like that. I mean, it's impossible. Western devotees there's no way that they're going to do. Even the little deity worship manual for ISKCON, for their pujaris, is, it's a good half-inch thick, and it's full of all kinds of rules and procedures. And if you read it without ever seeing somebody do these things, you would say, "Oh, this is impossible. Forget it. I'll just have a picture and just worship the picture." I don't want to get into this deity worship. This is too much, Especially like the Shaligram Shila worship. Yeah, it's like, somebody has to show you how to do this stuff. And then the booklet is just like the reference. Because if you tried to execute these instructions just by reading, forget it. You'd never get through it. And Shaligram Shila accepts offenses. So, you'd be in trouble.
It's also not the dharma for this yuga, right?
Deity worship is not the dharma for this yuga. This yuga, the deity worship is a secondary process. And the Sankirtan is the primary process. But still, the worship of the deity is one of the 9 processes of devotional service. So if we don't do it, our devotional service is incomplete. One time, Srila Prabhupada said, "My movement was successful because I installed the Radha Krishna deities in every center." He said that. So we have to understand from that the deity worship process is very important in developing devotional service. Maybe it's not essential, but it certainly helps, especially in the higher stages.
And also for grihasta.
Well, yeah, for grihastas, for householders, it's very wonderful to have the deities of the Lord and to worship them with arti once a day and like that. Are you going to train up Mother Swati how to take care of the deities? Please do that before we leave in the next few days. Okay.
You just mentioned that deity worship is very special for the advanced stages?
Yes.
Please explain.
Huh?
Please explain.
Well, one of the 9 processes of devotional service is worship. So how are you going to learn this process of worship, the activities of worship, unless you practice with the deities first? It's very simple.
That seems to me like neophytes or learning stages.
That's all right.
You mentioned advanced.
Yeah. Advanced is when you internalize that process and you start performing it spontaneously. Remember the story of the Sanodiya Brahmana who performed deity worship mentally because he was so poor he couldn't afford the physical process of worship. So he did the process mentally, and this led him to ultimate self-realization and liberation. Any of the 9 processes can. But the point is that in the advanced stages of devotional service, the worship process becomes internalized. And then one begins spontaneously, within his own mind, to perform these transcendental pastimes. And this leads to realization of our service relationship with Kṛṣṇa. Because whatever our service relationship is with Kṛṣṇa, it's going to include elements that we practice in the deity worship activities. The style and the manner of deity worship is basically how you